And I'm not saying that to be funny, like it's a joke. It's the serious nature of the truth. It's the serious, serious, serious truth. You know, if you brothers was to just take a little step back and maybe, learn something, you know what I'm saying, it would do you some good because you've already admitted as much. After you cut me off the conversation, I noticed that you know, if you win, that you don't have to wear, you use driver's license, I'll follow you too. Pump the brakes on that. First off, my intentions for using traveling as an example was because I made a statement about the contracts that we enter being shirk. The brother, Muhammad Amin, disagreed that it was shirk, although he provided no dalil, zero evidence for any stance that he's taking. But you're an imam. I don't even understand that thought process and how you even thought you was going to pawn that off as if that was some type of Islamic opinion, right? So my intention for bringing up traveling was to show that we have an authority to do things, and you guys are contracting your authority away because you're mentally incompetent, because you don't understand lawful status, because you don't understand that all rights in this country are enforced through contracts. How else are they enforced? I mean, there's things, there's layers of these issues that need to be peeled back, and you guys are so puffed up with arrogance that you can't take knowledge from anyone else. Certain things are specialty knowledge. You're not going to learn this at your imam course, or spending 4 years in Riyadh, or going to Al Azhar. You're not going to learn some of the stuff that you need to aid us, bruh. So, inshallah, in the future, maybe you brothers will take the air out and listen a little bit so that we can provide some qualified consultations for you brothers, inshallah. Because you guys are trying to do business with the people. You ain't slick, Negro. You're trying to do business with the people. So just come out and say you're doing business with the people, but and you're using the black title, the black brand, the black franchise as your calling card. Notice that after the George Floyd or the Trayvon Martin and all the Black Lives Matter rhetoric that has surfaced over the last 5, 6, 7 years or so, right? You Negroes tried to jump into that and fill the void because you 501c3 Negroes, because you good nonprofit wanting to seek a grant type Negroes, right? And so when the money start coming down the pipe in that regard, you want to try and be able to put a program together or something to compete to get that, right? Because you following the Yahudi Saulinsky model of protest for one, right? But um, you know, I didn't come in to be critical from the beginning because I understand, things are happening in our communities and you don't have a voice because black people, Islam has nothing to do with black people. Islam has nothing to do with black people. Don't you know that black people are the property of the church? So that whole experience is a church expression. The whole black experience is a church expression. It's the people who was denationalized, whose religion was taken, their language was taken, and they were given an identity. Remember, Kunta Kinte, okay? Take that old stuff from the old land, jog that out your memory. Get that out your memory bank because this is a new land now and this is a new identity for you. And that's basically what happened to our people. You know, it's interesting that from 1790, from 1790, we have evidence of the Muslims, you know, um, um, rebutting the presumption that we're Negroes. The Muslims rebutted the presumption that we're Negroes, and thus we, following the footsteps of our forefathers, but we see that nationality was the key. Okay, the people who didn't follow in that vein became property of the church over time. Names changes and so on and so forth. So far to the degree and extent to where you got so far away from the tradition to where you're a new people now. When they decided to abolish slavery, you know, that new people had a choice to make. Declare their nationality, become free and independent, just like the European did from its former oppressor, correct? But our people didn't do that. So they were recontracted with because the European government, who was doing business on this land, can't just have a free population, a foreign population roaming without no contractual treaties or nexus, right? And it was already established that you couldn't be a citizen. So what did they do? Well, they had to put a timeout on that and reconstitute some laws, and extend a status to you that does not recognize you as a human. It's called U.S. citizen. It came in with the 14th Amendment. Before the 14th Amendment, there were no U.S. citizens. So the term U.S. citizen was created specifically for the freed slaves, the slaves that who had been freed, emancipated, freed, right, to give them a status so that the government can contract with you. Oil and water don't mix. They're corporate government. You're human beings. They had to give you a person status to convert you into a person that they could do business with. And then they went about the business of doing business with you by legislating your reality, by legislating the degree and extent you can participate in this or that. And so that's been the demonstration ever since. And it gets real deep, bro. You know what I'm saying? So nobody just gonna pop up with a solution. You know what I'm saying? That does not consider all things that are involved. And that's why we're not gonna get solution from religious imams, right? Unless they're learned in particular areas of study. And so you have to seek that out. And we've done that. Alhamdulillah. We've been doing that for years, and so this is not an arrogant push. This is a necessary push. You need to understand the reality of nationality in this country. Everyone has a nationality. Even the dogs have nationalities in this country. Remember? British Bulldogs, Irish Setters, German Shepherds, and the like, right? And so that's not a bad thing as you've opened up with Surat al-Hujurat, you know what I'm saying, that Allah Ta'ala has created us and made us into nations and tribes, okay? Now, what's your nationality? You want to do business on the world stage and all that type of, brother, what's your nationality? Who are you? Right? They're going to say you Amriki, right? And that's not a bad thing, right? But is that it? You got to consider some things, right? And so I would suggest that you put some work in them areas, so that your communities that you're leading, you're not leading them into slavery, because you right now are agents of slavery. You're perpetuating a status, right? You're not trying to seek liberation. You Negroes want to do business. And so, like I said, we'll consult with you and do business with you, right? But if you want a nation build, you got to come out that crayon box, bruh. Real rap. Salam alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.